Welcome to another episode of the Trade Australia 2024 Consulate Series. I've now got the pleasure of being joined by Michael Pearce, the Honorary Consul General here in Melbourne for Germany. How are you, Michael?
Very good. Thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Michael, tell us about your role here at the Consul.
Well, my role probably has 3 or 4 main functions. One function is that I'm responsible for the consular office. We were down there just a few minutes ago on the 3rd floor of this building, where I employ a number of staff who do the day-to-day consular work that is required in looking after the German community here. Passport applications, passport renewals, people who take out German citizenship, whole range of those things we do downstairs in the office. So that's the, if you like, the number 1 function.
Yeah.
Number 2 function is I describe as representational. So I formally represent Germany at various official and unofficial engagements, often involving the state government, sometimes the federal government, sometimes local government. The third area, which I think is most important for today, I describe generally as pastoral, which is participating in activities of the German community here in Victoria. German community is large and diverse and very active, though it doesn't attract a lot of attention to itself. We have 3 German churches which have services in German language on a regular basis. We have a German school. We have a number of German kindergartens, we have a German club. The Goethe Institute is very active here, both on the educational side and on the cultural side. And importantly for today, we have a big German business community here, which I'm sure you know all about, which the focus of whose events is mainly on the German Chamber of Commerce, which has a growing office here in Melbourne.
Yeah, fantastic organisation they are. And Michael, on that note, tell us about some of the trade and investment opportunities you see between Australia and Germany.
Well, you have what I call the traditional investment activities, the trade and investment activities between Germany and Australia, which on the Australian export side is of course primarily raw materials going to Germany, and on the German side is manufactured goods coming here, cars, appliances, a whole host of things that we know German business produces very well. So that's the traditional business relationship that's been on foot for many years now. But there's a couple of growing areas of real interest, particularly to the Germans right now. One of them involves energy, in particular hydrogen. It's very well known that Germany lacks natural resources, has very little of its own energy sources. It's phased out now all nuclear. It's phasing out coal. It's investing heavily in renewables, but the big missing piece in the jigsaw, of course, is gas for Germany. Germany had hoped to get regular, reliable gas supplies from Russia. We all know what's happened to that. Germany is anxiously looking around the world for other supplies and looking in particular at replacing gas with hydrogen. There are great opportunities for Australia there. So that's really one of the big focuses right now. And the other one is in biosciences. Both countries actually are very prominent in that, particularly here in Melbourne, which is ranked, I think, 3rd in the world after London and Boston for biomedical research, the home of CSL, a number of other pharmaceutical companies. CSL, by the way, has a massive investment in Germany. Right. Some years ago, it took over the German firm Behring. They are now CSL Behring, which is a very large multinational organisation. And then we're very excited about the announcement late last year that BioNTech, the German pharmaceutical company, will be setting up here in the course of this year here in Melbourne.
Yeah, exciting news. And I think some of those things reminded me, Michael, I was lucky enough to interview the head of the German Pavilion at Expo 2020 in Dubai a little while ago. And some of the technology around the bio and ESG, the sustainability part was so impressive. Incredible work.
Well, there's huge opportunities there, and Melbourne is very much the centre of that activity Australia-wide. And so the Germans are very interested in what's going on here. The German Chamber, by the way, has a cluster around health sciences, and they're very interested and actively involved in those matters.
Absolutely. Now, I know you touched on that big organisation setting up here in Melbourne. Are there any other programs and initiatives that you and the Consulate have got planned for 2024?
Well, hydrogen, as I say, is a big focus here in Melbourne, in Victoria generally, also in Western Australia there's a big focus on hydrogen. But our big focus, I think, in the coming year is going to be around the establishment of BioNTech here in Melbourne. It's signed agreements with the Victorian Government, La Trobe University and the Peter MacCallum Cancer Clinic to do testing, to do diagnostic work and also to do research. So that's a real vote of confidence by the German side in what's going on here in Victoria, and we're very much looking forward to that.
Great, thank you. And finally, Michael, I suppose one of the things I ask all the consulates in this series is tell us a bit of a sales pitch, if you like, of why Australian companies should be looking to Germany to do business.
Well, Germany is a very large market, and if you get into the German market, there's about 80 million people in Germany, but it's part of the European Union. You can do business then in a market, probably the largest single market in the world, which has over 400 million people in it. So Germany is a great place to launch an Australian-based business there. The other thing I would say about Germany, and people have often a picture of the traditional view of Germany, of lederhosen and beer drinking and things like that. But if you go to Germany today, you'd be surprised how much Germany looks like Australia.
Right.
Germany is now a really vibrant, multicultural country. If you go to the streets of Germany, you see faces on the streets there, and you could be in a big city in Australia or North America. It's a modern, vibrant, multicultural country which has a lot to offer for everyone. And it's this modern face of Germany that I think surprises Australians when they visit there. People go to Berlin and they're really taken by what's going on in that city in particular. And there are other great parts of Germany too, of course.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Michael. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk with us today. And to all of the audience there, the viewers, obviously if you want to have any involvement with Germany with business, speak to Michael and the team here in Melbourne, but also the German Chamber of Commerce as well.
Thank you very much, Lawrence.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you.